Seating the Class, Myths and Realities About How Students Arrive at the First Day of Class. Presentation by Michael Baston, Vice President for Student Affairs. Today I'd like to talk about the myths and realities of how students arrive at the first day of class. Let's start with the first myth about admissions and enrollment. The myth: admissions is responsible for enrollment. The reality: all of us are responsible for successful enrollment. Many at LaGuardia may think that enrollment is all about recruiting new students, but in fact, admitting new students is only part of the college's enrollment. When we look at spring 2014 Session 1 headcount numbers, it is clear from the numbers that we can see 74% of our enrollment are continuing students. Cultivating that student population, specifically as it relates to retention, therefore is critical to successful enrollment. Of a 100% target, we actually had 104% in continuing students, which represents a 4% increase in continuing student enrollment thanks to everyone's efforts. Myth number 2, in meeting enrollment goals. The myth: with so many students, clearly everything is great. But the reality is, it is becoming increasingly challenging to meet the college's enrollment targets. And there are 5 specific trends of note. First, the countercyclical nature of community college enrollment. Secondly, we find ourselves dealing with competition for for-profits. In addition, there's a declining high school market, as well as competition from other CUNY colleges. And we also have to consider the pre-college partnership conversion rates as a part of enrollment. When we think about the countercyclical nature of community college enrollment, it's very important to note it's long been considered that as the economy worsens, enrollment tends to rise. The recession that began in 2007 steered more people into the college, especially adults who were past traditional college age and who enrolled in community colleges. Interestingly enough, however, as the economy began to recover, more Americans returned to the workforce instead of enrolling in college. College enrollment fell nationally by 2% in 2012-13, and this was the first significant drop since the 1990s. And that hit happened primarily to community colleges and the for-profit sector. Which brings me to the for-profit sector. They've grown a lot, 225% growth between 1998 and 2008. And they cost students way more than public colleges, 321% more in tuition than compared to community college. And 96% of the students have loans versus 13% of community college students. And 63.5% of the students have more debt. And those schools don't spend their money on students, $4.2 billion on marketing, 630% on CEO pay, 71% less spent on students, and 20% of the students graduate in 4 years, when they claim that they're able to graduate more in a shorter amount of time. And ultimately, there is a great proliferation of the for-profits that our students have to deal with on a regular basis. That competition is seen on train ads and billboards, on television, and they're everywhere, and they're coming and growing day by day by day by day by day. Then there is the declining high school market. When you look at the actual and projected numbers in the Northeast and specifically New York, what you can see is there'll be no increase in high school graduates until 2017-18, and even that is a very small increase. And we're starting to have competition with other community colleges and other CUNY colleges in general. 404 students that chose LaGuardia first went other places in CUNY, and some even went to the senior college, who are now taking students that would traditionally be going to the community college. When we look at the pre-college partnership conversion rates, we only got 32% from international high school. When we think about our CUNY start as an example, 370 started in spring 2013, but only 213 actually started in the fall of 2013 at LaGuardia, a 58% conversion rate. And then when we look at our College Now population, of 1,054 students, only 143 actually enrolled in LaGuardia, which is a 14% conversion rate. All of these conversion rates matter. Now, myth number 3, to address the issue, the myth: it doesn't appear that we can do much about it. But our reality is different. We define our destiny. So, now it's your turn. How do we ensure that students arrive at their seat in the first day of class? Here are a few points to ponder as you jumpstart your brainstorming session. The short term, let's look at the ACE and Student Affairs partnership that provides non-degree students a path to degree-seeking status, and the relationship with our high schools and how we can boost enrollment in smaller programs. And long-term, the kind of programs we offer, the labor market trends, and international education trends.